to this special webinar under Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. ENVIS, the Environment Information System. This is a flagship scheme of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change of Government of India, and it is running since 1982 throughout the country, and the basic activities of ENVIS centers. In some states there are more than one centers also. In Odisha, one center, and in Maharashtra, I think more than 4 centers are there, and they are working on different subject areas. And basically, under the major subject area, environment, state of environment and related issues. So under this ENVIS scheme, Bombay Natural History Society also working on different topics, and Center for Environmental Studies under Forest and Environment and Climate Change Department, Government of Odisha. It is also working on different subjects. So basically our objective is to collect environment related data, information, time series information, and provide the information to all the users. Besides that, we are also doing some publication in the shape of newsletters and booklets and other activities, outreach activities also. And these type of activities like webinars and some competitions we are also holding. So under this special program, mega program, Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, we have already conducted some webinars on different topics, and today we are having on discussion on Chilika wetland and its conservation. Before starting the main topic with our guest, let me request Mr. Nand Kishore to tell about their activities. Mr. Nand Kishore.
Okay, thank you, Pravod sir. I think screen is visible or not?
Yes, visible.
Okay, so again, welcome you all on behalf of Bombay Natural History Society and CSV ENVIS. So the purpose of the Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat program is based on the ideas of sustain and the structural cultural connect between the people of different different regions in India, and this idea was propounded by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi during the Rashtriya Ek Divas held on 31st October 2015. So this program considered the pairing of the different states and union territories in order to promote the mutual understanding. It's like a mutual understanding between people and establishing cultural exchange to further human bonding for our nation building. As this year, Maharashtra has been paired with the Odisha. So already Pravod sir has talked about their ENVIS center. So Maharashtra ENVIS, BNHS is working in Maharashtra, paired with the Odisha, another ENVIS center of both of these states with the contributing towards the celebration of this event. And in BNHS ENVIS, basically we are working for avian ecology. We are collecting data. We are basically we are established in 1996. It is supported by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. So when we have started this ENVIS center in BNHS, that time we have collected the information of avian ecology, and we have shared this information to the policy planner, then scientist, then research worker all over the country. And in our objective, it's like to create the main database. So we have more than 20,000 references. So it's a bibliography. and those who wish, and those who want to write a research paper, and the researcher or the scientist want some information related to avian ecology in a particular area, so they have to just send an email. Once we have received the email, we will send the required information to them. Even we are regularly publish our Buceros. It's a triannual newsletter. In Buceros, we have regularly published the articles related to avian ecology, as well as the activity conducted under the BNHS NVIS program. And we have our dedicated website where you will get all the latest published Buceros issues. Also, you will get the knowledge about uh, what is happened in India related to avian ecology. And we are regularly organizing green skill development program. It's a program. We Under this program we will train the unemployed youth, so in future they will get the job in a relevant sector. Thank you Pravat sir. And again, I welcome sorry thank you Pravat sir, over to you.
Thank you, Namkishwarji. So today, little bit we start this later due to some network issue. So for inconvenience, we are very sorry. And just now we started, and a lot of information this NVIS scheme is providing. I request all the participants that you please go to any Google search or any NVIS centers. You will see what type of information we are collecting for all the people. For all subject, we are covering time series information that is very helpful for policy makers and also for research and for other, for knowledge also. You can get it from the website. Continuously since more than 30 years, these centers are working, and this is a part of their activity that they are doing some webinars for enhancing your knowledge. So kindly participate actively in forthcoming programs also. So today, as you declared that we will be discussing on some important topic. So today topic is Chilika wetland and its conservation. We have one of our guests who is very experienced in this field, and he is none other than Dr. Anant Kumar Sahu. And about him, I can tell you that he has worked more than 40 years in teaching, research, and implementing different type of projects in different fields like plant science, environment, coastal management, and natural disaster issues like. And he has completed his MSc in botany and received gold medal from Utkal University in 1977, and also he has been awarded with Commonwealth Scholarship from United Kingdom, and he completed his PhD on heavy metal pollution from United Kingdom, and he worked as subject matter specialist in Odisha Coastal Zone Management Authority. You know, the projects, those are seeking approval from coastal zone. That coastal zone management authority is clearing this project. So he has been in this Odisha coastal zone management authorities for 7 years, and he has also worked as ecologist in integrated coastal zone management project, not only for Odisha. It covers 3 states, including Odisha, and he has worked there more than 12 years, and implementing different type of projects along the coast with the government departments and other agencies under the support of World Bank. And You know that
Edited.
Puri Golden Beach has been awarded with the Blue Flag certificate that has been given by FE Denmark in 2020. You might have seen in the newspaper and TV news that our Golden Beach has been awarded, and one of the best location of beach, and he is having the main responsibility there because he was there as nodal officer. And with this lot of experience, he has been, he is having in this line, not only for coastal and also other wetlands also, he has been a lot of knowledge. So we are very grateful that he is with us, and let us invite Dr. Ananta Kumar Sahu to speak about this topic, Chilika wetland and its conservation. And today the participants are from Maharashtra and Odisha, and please listen, get some knowledge from him. And regarding your doubts or clarification, any question, you can put your questions in the chat box. So over to Dr. Ananta Kumar Sahu. Please, sir, you start your presentation.
Thank you very much. So I am Dr. Anant Kumar Sahu, and I will discuss something about the Chilika wetland and its conservation as it is located in Odisha. See, wetlands are actually a new concept. So that is the area, geographical area with water, sediments, and dissolved materials then from the higher elevation to a common low-lying outlet or basin at a point on which larger streams, lakes, and underlying aquatic or estuaries became the wetland. So there is an international forum which was done by the Ramsar Convention, and Chilika was awarded that Ramsar Site Convention as the important site for the wetland during 1981. So these sites are actually initially considered to be site for donating disease, unhealthy or unhygienic, but later on it was felt after the Amazon basin, this is the most productive internationally throughout the world. Therefore, it got much momentum and the sites were demarcated for this purpose. So they have actually identified it from each wetlands, the functions they contribute to the mankind. So these functions are quite large. So I'll discuss about that initially, because you will then understand how the wetlands are contributing for the well-being of the mankind. So I'll divide into several categories. Number one is, it is the habitat for fish, wildlife, and plants. And it is providing the development of initial food webs, organisms for the initial food webs for the higher layer. So therefore very, very important there. Without that, the higher organisms cannot survive, because plants are there which contribute the basic food to the all organisms, then other organisms consume that and become the part of the food web. It provides nursery for the fish. If you see the wetlands, in most of the cases, they are the nursery for the fish catch. and
Sir,
other organisms.
Dr. Sahu,
Pardon?
sir, are you having presentation, PPT?
No, not at the present. I had,
Okay,
but
click
not
on.
at the present. Okay.
Sir, you can show your face also. Unmute your video.
Okay. It also provides the space for all kinds of organisms for their breeding and deposit of eggs, and provide shelter for the endangered species. This provides the this provides the shelter ground for winter shelter ground for the birds which are living in the cold countries. They come to this site during the winter time for their protection. So we'll keep that in the regarding the biodiversity. Then natural water quality. The water which come from the hinterland as well as from the stream and rivers. So they come with all the dirty materials from that, and the wetlands provide them filtration. Ultimately, before meeting the sea, it is filtered there, because when it come in contact with the freshwater, come contact with the sea water or saline water of the brackish conditions, the particles settle down. So the water becomes much purified than the coming from the source. Then it removes the environmental materials coming with the water from the streams and the hinterland. So in that way, that big natural purification is only done by the wetlands before it is meeting to the sea as well as coming to the people of the coastal area. Similarly, it utilizes preserve carbon dioxide and other nutrients from the water, that is like nitrogen and phosphates, so that these are not mixing with top waters and polluting the entire water system for the organisms. Then hydrological services.
Sir,
It
excuse me, sir. Your PPT is not visible.
I am
Please
not visible.
reset it again.
Okay, wait. Okay. Now
No,
the
sir, camera is
oh,
facing of you. Your face, not your screen.
okay. Then flood storage. So when the water coming during the rainy season for the as a flood, so these are the source and a sink, so that the current and flood cannot damage the surrounding areas because of this wetlands. And shoreline erosion. It protects the shoreline against the flood and other erosion processes. Similarly, it provides recreation ground, provide ground for research, and aesthetic value for the people of different kinds. And the economic benefits are very huge. So usually people consider the marketing, other things, production provide the money to our exchequer. But if you consider in different way, these wetlands provide huge money to the exchequer, provide peace. When I was young and studying my college days, at Cuttack I was watching a lorry field and train field. Fees are taken from the Chilika to the Calcutta. Similarly, it supports the timber growth in surrounding areas and provide also medicinal value from the itself and from the surrounding areas. And fish, shellfish, for the local people, it provides part of their food product. And migratory birds, particularly during the winter, it comes from the Russia, Siberia, Mongolia, and shelter here, breed here, and after the end of the winter season, go back to their own land. So that way, it provides, it can take the materials, eat the growth of the small organic materials from the sea, and as well as coming from the sea as well as from the wetlands. So that sort of, if you consider the value of it, it is huge. That I will narrate later on. Other support it provides, the reduce the flood damage. The way it is, during the flood, this reduce the erosion, reduce and prevent the waterlogging for the surrounding area, because it became the sink for the flood water. And it ensure the safety and security to the villages. If you think it how it is, then I'll cite one case study. In Chilika, not a proper site for mangrove, but in some area it was planted. And other areas, the people were not interested because of the fishermen were not interested for the mangrove plantation, because it will cover their area for the purpose. But after the site, it was found that the boats near this mangrove area of the wetlands of Chilika were protected than the surrounding area. So it reduced the severity of the cyclone to this area. So these wetlands, the Chilika provides most of these resources and benefits to the local people, surrounding people, as well as people around the country, because they provide a lot of food materials to the entire country. So then I will go to the proper Chilika condition, how it is. So it is about the general wetlands and linked to Chilika. But when we come to the case of Chilika, we will find what it is. So the Chilika is about 780 square meter in during summer and 1,144 square meter during rainy season. This difference due to the supply of water from the rivers and catchment area. It is one of the Ramsar site, as I have told earlier. From the 1981, it is one of the important Ramsar site. And location is, if you consider the location, it is about, area is about 89023 hectares. total area. And it covers 3 districts of the state, that is Khurda, Puri and Ganjam. So and another important thing I will tell about this Chilika is, it is the largest brackish-water lagoon in India and perhaps the second largest brackish water in world. It get the status of sanctuary in 1973, and during 1981, Wetland of International Importance award was given under Ramsar Convention. So this river is big. The Chilika is big, reputed and internationally famous. About 1 million of migratory birds come to Chilika during winter time. Therefore, because when any organism, any bird, any avian flora come from different areas of that huge amount, it is possible only the food material is available in such an area. Such a huge avian flora survive during the period of the winter. When we taken into consideration of different climatic conditions as well as the other, a typical tropical monsoon climate, and temperature in Chilika is 17.5 degrees centigrade to 32 degrees centigrade. This is because it is very near to the sea, and fluctuation of temperature is comparatively less, compared to much less than the northern area, and compared to less of the internal area of the state. The salinity is from 0 to 36 ppt parts per thousand. So that means seawater salinity in that particular areas is at ppt. But when you consider Chilika, different parts, different area, near to sea mouth, there is salinity is 36 ppt. But when in northern side, the rivers come bring the fresh water, it is as good as fresh water. So therefore, vegetation in different parts of the sea, part of Chilika is different. So it is therefore the condition is marine, brackish, as well as freshwater. So such a diverse condition is very rarely seen all other wetlands. The pH of normal water, the wetland is 6.8 to 9.7. And two main rivers from the Mahanadi source provide water, Daya and Bhargavi. Therefore, the major water come from them, and 8 other rivers bring water also to the wetland. About 375,000 cusecs of fresh water comes to the wetland. Annual sediment loss is 30 million metric ton. That is huge. Because in part of the surrounding of the wetland is small mountains, small hills rather say, and other two major rivers bringing a lot of sediments from the coastal area to this site. Therefore, it is sometimes a problem for the wetland. And it is connected to the Bay of Bengal. So, in between Bay of Bengal and Chilika, there is sandpit. And in certain area, it is connected to sea. Previously, it was connected at Motto, a place towards the northern side of the Motto, which is about 32 kilometers from the main Chilika. Now it is closed. Therefore, the sediments brought by these rivers and catchment area is not flushed to the sea, and sediments load is increased very much. So that is the reason Chilika was kept in the Montrex record from 1973. Montrex record says if any irregularity, if pollution is there beyond the record, beyond the parameters assigned for this wetlands, then it is kept in that record. Once it rectify that, it is again given the status of the wetland. That happened to Chilika in 73 due to all these problems of mouth to sea. The sediment load coming from the catchment area as well as the rivers could not be flushed back to the sea, and therefore the condition of sediment load was much more beyond the standard or approvable mark of the wetland. Therefore, it was kept in the Montrex record. So that is said by this wetland record cannot be maintained that time, award cannot be maintained that time. Therefore, the government has to take certain steps. Government of India as well as government of Orissa took certain steps, and in 1982 it again entered into the wetland record. So for that, government has to prepare the channels, internal channels from the main rivers to the sea. So it helped to flush to the sediments to the sea, and sediment load came to the normal, and the Chilika became the wetland. So if you consider the challenge, that means the present status of Chilika, you can think of the ecosystem status of Chilika is mostly provide the ecosystem service, food source, as well as the raw materials, genetic resources, medical resources or medicinal resources, ornamental plants, and shell and shellfish. Regarding services, it provides climatic regulation, water sample and analytical capacity of the water for growth of the organisms, and pollution minimum level and available in Chilika. Cultural aspect, other amenities are there growing day by day, and different areas now enter into the conditions of recreation or area of recreation, and people are coming to that Chilika because people coming to Puri, which is one of the Dham of Puri, the tourist per year flow or footfall of the tourist to this Puri is about 2 crores per year. Quite lot coming to Chilika for its beauty, panoramic beauty, and dolphin watch, as well as for day visiting Chilika, because it is unique for them. Particularly, about 30 to 40% of the tourists coming to Puri come to Chilika for this reason. Now, it has been seen that the total contribution to the exchequer is 45% from these wetlands. Not only Chilika, along with other wetlands of Orissa. And international benefit in international earning is about 20 trillion per year. So from that you can rightly guess how these wetlands are providing resources for the countries. Not only India, elsewhere also happening like that. If we consider these wetlands, they can be categorized into two types. One is inland and other is coastal. And again, each one is divided into two categories. One is natural, another is man-made. But Chilika, as such, Chilika is natural and coastal category. Now, regarding the conservation, present status says that 1 million migratory birds come to Chilika during the winter time, and lot of genetic diversity. Such diversity is not possible anywhere in land, even in Amazon basin, because here the genetic diversity extended between from the bottom to the top of the water. Therefore, vertical consideration of the genetic diversity, it is huge. So it provides three types of organisms in a same place. One is marine type, another is completely freshwater type, and third one is mixed between these two, that is Estuarine type. So therefore, the status of the wetlands are huge and diverse. So its management is therefore quite difficult. So main problem, if we think of Chilika, is the siltation. For that reason, Chilika was removed from the wetland list. That happens to other wetlands times to time to come if the conditions are not maintained. So therefore, government has taken interventions to prepare the channel, prepare and dig the mouth, removal of the water than the previous outlets, so that it became to normality. And things, even then, the management requires a keen interest for this and to watch this so that it should be maintained. Otherwise, the same thing can revive again. Then, if that happens, it decreases the salinity. And if the salinity decreases, as I have told, three climatic conditions prevail in these wetlands cannot be. So organism will decline and productivity will decline. So again is decrease of biodiversity, because due to the various kinds of salinity from 0 to 36 parts per thousand, various types of aquatic organisms are found there. And the struggle between fishermen and non-fishermen. Now these days, non-fishermen are coming to the very core of Chilika to procure the fish. There it is affecting the income of the or livelihood of the fisherman. That should be ensured at any cost. Government is trying for that, but it is found it is not up to the mark. And increasing of prawn gary. Because Chilika, if you do the prawn inside Chilika. It is sometimes allowed for some areas by the administration. But problem is, unscrupulous people prepare that prawn in Chilika because only they demarcate it from the others or by nets and culture the prawn, and outrightly they get huge amount of money. That way, the flushing of the water, other things decreases. So every year there is removal of prawn occurs, and it should not be like that. It should be completely free of prawn from Chilika. If that is the condition, government has prepared certain plan for that. In 2019, they prepared a plan, and that is for 5 years. So that plan includes protecting the ecosystem while ensuring the livelihood of fishermen around Chilika. And they have allotted money for that. Similarly, sustainable fisheries, because a lot of water channel, other things are taken out from this. And sustainable fisheries should grow around Chilika so that dependentness of the people will decrease. Because previously, less people were depending on Chilika, fishermen were depending on Chilika, say 1 lakh, something like that, or 1 point something like that. But now it is estimated that about 2 lakhs are people are depending on it. So if that happens, it cannot meet the increasing population. So therefore, government is planning to provide some sort of alternate livelihood in and around Chilika, so that all the peoples will get a share for their earning livelihood. And they are also spending for ecotourism, because recently, that means ICZM project has given a grant for estimate the area for tourism or demarcate the area for the tourism, considering the water quality, communication, as well as the CRGL restrictions. So now they are working on it. And there is a research laboratory in Chilika Development Authority in near Chilika, and government is providing money for their research and development so that it will help Chilika for the development. One important thing of Chilika is the biodiversity as well as the genetic condition will be maintained if the water quality will be suitable. That is the number one reason. And CDA, by their wetland research and training station located near the Chilika, is trying to do that. And monitoring of coastal erosion, because as you know, the eastern coast of India is very vulnerable for the cyclone and other things. Lot of erosion occurring every now and then, and recently it is more than once every year the cyclones are coming. So therefore, in some places, erosion is very much recorded, and tidal waves are very much there. So therefore, government has tried to get the data from erosion point of view during cyclone and other times, so that the plans will be developed for the protection of the coast. And there is a small pit only running on the coast, divide sea as well as the wetlands. So therefore, it is very much necessary. So what should be important then? The river, through the rivers, a lot of plastic wetlands. So that should be completely saved from it. Otherwise, it will affect the area. And CRZ Act. So as you know, coastal region, there is a central government rule that is CRZ Act, which started in 1991. And I was looking after this for 7 years for Odisha. It should be stringent. Otherwise, what will happen? This coastal area, government is interested to protect the coastal area at any cost because these are more vulnerable as well as more lucrative regarding the biodiversity is concerned. It is much different, much delicate than the inland areas. So one more thing is necessary for this area because I have quite acquainted with this area working with. There should not be hotels around Chilika. Because people can come from Bhubaneswar, people can come from Puri. This Chilika is important for 1 day visit. So therefore, no hotel should be allowed. Stringently not allowed around Chilika. Besides that, diversification of livelihood among the fishermen should be given opportunity. All people from the fisher community should not be allowed or should not be given chance to enter into the fishing. So because in the future days, these fishermen could not be accommodated in fishing only because you know that the fishing is decreasing in coastal areas. And these increasing fishermen will be, if entered to the fishing purpose or fishing profession, then it will not be suitable for the future days. And there should be proper monitoring of the water quality of the wetlands because the nutrient load like nitrogen as well as phosphate coming from the rivers and industries and catchment areas from the village as well as from the cities or urban areas. So that should be monitored and checked. Another is weed control because important weed in Chilika, Caracas, that is such weed is growing like forest fire. That should be controlled. A lot of steps are taken by the CDA, but still it is not controlled because a lot of area is being occupied gradually by this weed. So all chances should be taken for its complete removal from Chilika. And facilities should be given for fishing community and other benefits should be given fishing community so that they will be not dependent, not other professions like agriculture, other things, which is very much growing. So if you think it, the conservation practices, some are taken, some are not taken, some are on the midway. If it is not properly maintained, again wetlands, and particularly this wetland, will go for Montic's record and will get a bad name for maintaining the environmental conditions, maintaining the biodiversity, decreasing the genetical source and the financial return after all. Chilika, no doubt, a lot of poems, other things, scenery, videos are produced every time. So that will be no more possible in future days. So I think it is okay now. I will allow my friends to ask anything they want with regard to this wetland particularly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any question from participants, you can type in the chat box so that we can share with the speaker. So one question received from Mr. Kasinath Naik from Odisha. He's asking that there is some lot of degradation in biodiversity in the north side of Chilika, and
Which side?
grasses are also there.
Which side?
What types of initiatives being taken by the government?
So regarding the grasses, one has to see that whether that area is suitable for the grass regarding the salinity is concerned of the wetlands. If that is possible, if that case is taken to the CDA, Development Authority, so they will test and verify so that grass can be cultured in that area.
Next question from Prasun P. Any relationship between Chilika dolphins and the birds?
Okay. So Chilika is one of the site dolphins are available, and I was there for 10 years in census of dolphins. Now it should be, because last 2 years I have not gone, it should be around 150 dolphins in Chilika. Birds are not directly involved because both don't interfere with the food for each other. The dolphins usually take their food or fish from the morning, and birds later on from the till the evening, and therefore the sites are different. Dolphins are available in certain areas, birds can be available in different areas. So therefore no direct relationship regarding the salinity is concerned, because dolphin don't depend upon very much on the salinity of the wetland. So it can be available in Chilika as well in the coast of India. But birds are available throughout the ecosystem. So therefore no direct conflict between these two, not even with human being, because they are the friends of the human being. They don't create problem for the fishing purpose of the fishermen, dolphins particularly. So therefore I don't think any interaction which is detrimental to each other. Then
Okay, sir. Next question from Gargi Mishra. She's asking that is there any step taken for the conservation of Irrawaddy dolphins? And if yes,
yes,
please share your knowledge.
yes, because there was researchers specifically for dolphin. Chilika CDA has employed them. If the condition will not be much deteriorated regarding the nutrition, particularly nitrogen as well as phosphate, then the fish will be there and dolphin will survive. Only problem regarding the dolphin is the visitors are going very near to the dolphin. That should not be done, because once, therefore, in previous days, dolphin were available, because I was associated with the sense. Previously dolphin was available in groups. And nowadays, they have migrated in different areas because tourists are going to those sites. Therefore, they are going away from that. And small groups, they are available. So actually, fishermen do not kill or hamper the life of dolphin, because they are considered to be friends of the fishermen. and they help in fishing to the fishermen. So therefore, and besides that, site were demarcated for them or suitable after the study. CDA is trying to find the area suitable to them and taking them to that site by changing. So in that way, it is helping them from any problem in the wetland. Okay.
Another question from Suraj Ramesh. He's asking that what measure is both state and center has taken to maintain sustainable fishing in Chilika?
Regarding sustainability, number one reason is, as I have told you, regarding the water condition or parameters. If that will be maintained, then Chilika can have three types of conditions having marine, freshwater, as well as brackish water. So therefore, to maintain the water quality, decrease the load of nutrients, CDA is doing continuous research and trying to locate the area which are not suitable in this regard. So therefore, it is also trying to collect the plastic and purify, separating the sediment load as well as the nutritional load at the beginning of the estuary. Chilika, that is Chilika. As you know that when the fresh water mixed with the saline water, the sediment as well as the nutrition settle down. So therefore, in particular entrance point of these rivers, the CDA as well as the revenue help with the government of Orissa trying to settle the nutrients and purify the water as much as possible, so that the water quality of Chilika should be maintained as per the suitability of the organisms in different parts of Chilika. One more thing is there, I have not told you earlier. So there is a canal built during the British days from the southern part of Chilika near the Ganjam. It was connected to there, so that the water is passing to that area, bypassing that area, so that the salinity, it is helping to maintain the salinity of the area, salinity of the water. So now the government is trying to clean it and dredge it so that water plus is continuous and quality of the water of the river, coming rivers and the wetlands will be maintained. Okay.
Okay, sir. Next question from Shankar Narayan Bal Subramaniam. He's asking that to share something about specific measures taken for the avian biodiversity, especially for migratory birds.
Yes.
Special measures.
Yeah. Actually, CDA is engaging person from that means the Avian Institute from Bombay, and for their engaging them regarding the census of that and identification of that, engaging 2-3 persons, as I know. Various times I have seen it. Besides that, they are actually employing people not to poach in different areas, Nalban and other areas, protecting that and implementing the protection law. And naturally the food is available, so therefore government is not utilizing any effort on that kind. It is available naturally from the wetlands, but they are controlling their poaching and providing the normal salinity for available of the food of the organisms coming from different areas and the water quality parameters maintaining, so that it is specifically for the avian fauna coming from outside. So the as Chilica is 3 types, as I have told you, the birds can be available in different areas in different times.
Okay, sir. There is also a common question that there is a decrease of dolphins, and the same person, Kasinath Naik, has also asked, can it be possible for weekly holidays in Chilica for the time being, so that is there any facilities given by uh, public?
Regarding what facility they want?
Is there any provision of like facilities of holiday, weekly holiday in Chilica along with boating? But I think
Yeah,
it is available.
yeah.
But
Regarding
the
the
question
holidaying,
is that the dolphin
because
number, whether it is decreasing, and
no,
what is the
dolphin is not decreasing because it is not killed. It is not any harm is done to them by the fishermen. Hardly 1 or 2 last 4, 5 years or 7 years, say, dolphin death is very rare, 1 or 2 each year we found. But regarding the breeding, consider the breeding condition, 2, 3 dolphin death is not really decreasing condition. Now it is 150, around 150. Only problem is dolphin can remain in Chilica or it can go to the coastal areas. So therefore, when you take the census, sometimes 1 year it is found much less, and another year, subsequent year, the population has been normal. Because we consider if it happened several times, then we thought or review that they might be going to the coastal sea and coming back. So therefore, decreasing dolphin is not very much can be said. So if they are not available in particular area, as I have told you, initially they are available in groups, but nowadays they are available in different places in small groups. So therefore, that is the change we have very often found nowadays than the previous time, initial dolphin times, dolphin watching. So regarding the boating and staying, going Chilica is okay, visiting Chilica is okay, enjoy the Chilica is okay, but stay at Chilica, stay in the bank of Chilica, it will be like the other areas. The waste things will be come to Chilica. That actually the environmentalists don't want. So therefore, if you are coming from the nearby area, there is tour buses coming from Puri, coming from Bhubaneswar every day. So you can come and go. So in the night, I don't think any nightlife in Puri, Chilica. So therefore, staying at Chilica is not very much agreeable. But visiting Chilica to dolphin, because the dolphin in Chilica is different. In the picture, you are observing that dolphin come to the sea, come to the air, then go back to the water. But that don't happen in Chilica, because Chilica is not much depth. Where there is water is very high, then they can go up and can go down. As you know that the average depth of Chilica is only 1.5 meter or 5 feet. So therefore, the only part of the body come to the top of water so that you can see. That is happens in Chilica. It is not happening as in the seashore. because one day I have gone to that penthouse for some purpose of some work there. So I saw 40 dolphins very near to the coast. So these dolphins can accommodate saline water, mixed brackish water in silica, also the coastal water. So therefore, dolphin decreasing is not very much considered. Okay.
Another interesting question from Dilip Kumar Thola.
Yeah.
Is there any specific reason behind the attraction of birds during winter in Chilica?
Specific reason.
Specific reason.
Okay, that I will tell you. Because there is now Blue Flag Beach at Puri. And that is according to the guidelines of PHI from Denmark. So Blue Flag Beach is now a crazy thing in Europe and America. So if you see that Blue Flag Beach in Puri, so that is like a beach seen in Europe and America. Similarly, human point of view, watching this migratory avian fauna give you an idea about the birds of the international location. And actually the birds as well as the animals know where the food is available for them, for their kids. So therefore they come Chilica and they go only after winter season, finish of the winter season. They don't go at the middle. So that will indicate the food is not available properly, they will go to another place. So Chilica is therefore important in this avian flora point of view, that enough food is available and the birds of different countries you can see at one place. Is that okay?
Okay, sir. Two more questions are there, but I am jointly telling that question from Sarabjit Mahanti and Gargi Misra.
Okay.
Related questions they have asked. That first one is have you seen any depletion of numbers of migratory birds? Second one is it is also related. What are the measures can be taken or are being taken to prevent the threat of bird flu in wetland?
So I'll tell you. Birds are the forerunners of the climatic change. If any cyclone, if bad weather occurs any area coming to the site, they may change their direction. That is the very important thing. They can go to another place. They can go to by dividing the group. They can go to other places without coming to here. That happens many times. That has been recorded. If bad weather and cyclones are prevailed earlier or happen to be coming later, they can link themselves and accordingly they can change the place. So that year, migration of avian flora is decreasing trend. And sometimes poaching can occur, but that poaching is very nominal. That cannot decrease or deviate the coming of the birds. Because government has taken steps and they are actually capturing the people for that. So that is the reason is not Chilica. And rainfall variation is not the problem. And availability of food is not the condition. I believe if the weather condition during their coming or before coming is bad in that area, then migratory birds usually change their direction. That has happened many times, records are there. Okay.
Okay, sir. Is there any increase of production in prawn culture in Chilica due to proper management? It is from Padmaja Pati. The question is that what is the status of prawn culture in Chilica?
Particularly prawn culture, I cannot throw much light. The reason is there are several types of prawns are there. Nutrition may not be suitable to all types of prawns all the times, and particularly spawning time, egg laying times, they require the protection. It is very much good for them at mangrove area for the protection as well as the getting their nourishment from the detritus food chain. So detritus food chain is not available in Chilica. Detritus food chain means product producer is the plant and microbes are the breaking partner, and then small kids only feed on that. That is called detritus. And this type of food chain is called detritus food chain. So that is very much well recorded, and population is very much there, good there, if mangrove is there. Because Chilica nowadays, mangrove is there. So one is Prepare, a South Indian NGO, has grown mangrove in Chilica, as well as government has done some area for the mangrove. So now that is a food chain is available in Chilica, but very small area. When I was trying to do it by the villagers, they are not agreeing because they think their fishing potential will decrease, keeping all this. But after the filing, they are quite pleased because in filing, that part of the where the mangrove is, their boats were less destroyed because mangroves are recognized to decrease the speed or severity of the cyclone. So that is that regarding this, regarding prawn, Chilica is only the natural things, not very much suitable earlier, but because of the mangrove, Bonamalipur and that area, you will find this area is helping the prawn for fertilization, protection, as well as growth and their food chain. So therefore, this area, there must increase of prawn. But other area is, as you think, the area is decreasing nowadays, shrinking because of the siltation. So other area is not suitable because some weeds are growing in northern part. The cell rate is decreasing. So therefore, northern part don't have any hope. But regarding around this mangrove area, you will find there possibility of some increase of prawn. One more thing I will tell you. I would like to tell you. Initially, the people of these two mangrove area were denying
Okay, sir. Thank you,
mangroves.
sir.
I'll finish this.
We are going by
This
time.
what
So
happened now? When the tides are coming, a lot of fish is coming. Goes back. People catch a lot of fish. Fish production in these mangrove areas are much more. So this other fish, this is the case with other fish. But regarding from mangrove is a suitable site, facilitating site, protecting site, food chain site for the prawn. Okay.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir. You have answered so many queries, questions, very valuable questions they have asked. And a lot of questions are also coming, but due to the limited time, we are not uh, able to answer them. But however, I would like to thank sir. You have shared a lot of experience you have gained during your working in ICZMP and uh, under other OCZMA also. So thank you, sir. And a lot of lot of participants. They have asked. They actually wanted to see your presentation, but next time I would like to say request. Next time definitely we'll have presentation so that pictures and dialogue both will run. So
I could have done. You have not actually insisting that time. So therefore, I was busy for other things. So therefore, I have not prepared. I could have prepared.
sir. Anyway, sir, a lot of information we received from you. Thank you for being with us. And it's the efforts of BNHS and CES that so many experts are there in the field of environment and other areas for environmental conservation. And we are also celebrating rivers of India. So it is the first. We can say that we have started with wetland. So thank you, sir, for sharing lot of information. And now I am, let me over to Mr. Nand Kishore.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor, and really thank you, Dr. Ananta Sahu, sir, for the wonderful session. It was very interesting information which you have shared with us. Thank you again on behalf of BNHS Envis and CES. So, behind this webinar, we have another team member like Mr. Suraj Gosavi, Gargi, and Karan. So these are all from BNHS Envy side, and thanks from CS Envy Center and Dr. Mr. Pravad Das sir. So for organizing this beautiful webinar, thank you again, and thank you all participants for presenting and attending and asking the questions. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful webinar. Thank you, Anand, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, can you please share the email address of sir?
Yeah. Okay. I will share. So it is available in chat box.